I don't remember when it started, but I remember how it felt. This quiet sense that I was supposed to lead, that I was supposed to know things before anyone explained them. That somehow, being first meant I had to figure it out on my own and get it right. It wasn't something anyone said out loud. It was just ... there, like a weight I didn't ask for, but carried anyway. When I was young, I noticed things other kids didn't seem to notice. I watched how adults reacted when I succeeded, and how they looked when I didn't. I learned early that my wins mattered more than they should. That people expected something from me I couldn't name. So I became careful. I started doing things before being asked. I anticipated problems. I tried to stay ahead, not because I wanted to, but because falling behind felt unbearable. Like I was failing at something I was born to do. I didn't realize it then, but I was already performing a role no one assigned me. I just ... assumed it was mine. In school, I was the one who organized, who reminded, who took charge when no one else did. Not because I wanted control, but because the silence felt uncomfortable. Like if I didn't step in, something would go wrong, and somehow that would be my fault. I wasn't bossy. I was afraid. Afraid that if I wasn't useful, I wouldn't matter. So I kept showing up early, kept raising my hand, kept being the one who had it together, even when I didn't, and people believed it. They believed it so much that they stopped asking if I was okay. That pattern followed me into adulthood. At work, I became the person others leaned on. The one who took on extra projects, who stayed late, who said, "I'll handle it," before anyone else had the chance. Not because I was ambitious, because I didn't know how to be any other way. I told myself it was just responsibility, just discipline, just who I am. But underneath, there was this constant hum, this fear that if I slowed down, if I let someone else lead, I'd lose the one thing that made me valuable. In relationships, it showed up differently. I was the planner, the fixer, the one who held things together when they started to crack. I didn't wait to be asked. I just ... stepped in, took over, made decisions so others didn't have to carry the weight, and part of me liked it. It felt safe to be needed. But another part, the part one rarely lets speak, was exhausted. Because being first in everything means you're always one step ahead of your own rest. There were moments I wanted to stop, to let someone else figure it out, to say, "I don't know," without feeling like I was letting everyone down. But those words felt dangerous, like admitting weakness, like proving I wasn't who people thought I was. So I kept going, kept leading, kept solving problems that weren't always mine to solve. And I started to resent it. Not the people around me. They didn't ask for this. I resent the invisible contract I had signed with myself. The one that said, "You were born to go first, so you don't get to be tired." The hardest part wasn't the work. It was the loneliness. Because when you're always in front, people forget you might need support too. They assume you're fine. They assume you've got it handled. And after a while, you stop correcting them. You just nod, smile, keep moving, even when you're running on empty. I've spent years wondering where this came from. Was it something I was taught? Something I inherited? Something I made up in my head to feel important? Maybe all of it. Maybe none of it. What I know is this. The pressure didn't come from one place. It came from everywhere and nowhere. It came from being seen as capable before I even knew what that meant. And once people see you that way, it's hard to be anything else. I'm not saying this to complain. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm saying it because I finally see it clearly. This weight I've carried, it didn't start yesterday. It didn't start in my last job or my last relationship. It started the moment I began believing that being first meant being responsible for everything that came after. That belief shaped how I work, how I love, how I rest or don't. And now that I see it, I can't unsee it. I don't have a solution. I'm not sure there is one. But there's something that shifted when I stopped pretending this wasn't happening. When I finally said, out loud, I've been carrying this for a long time. And I'm tired, not defeated, not broken, just ... honest. Maybe being born first doesn't have to mean going first forever. Maybe I can learn to stand beside instead of always in front. Maybe the pressure I felt all my life was never a command, just a story I told myself so many times. I forgot it wasn't the truth. I don't know yet, but I'm paying attention now. If any of this sounded familiar, just notice which part stayed with you the longest. That's usually where the real weight lives.